Hello, welcome for another edition of Thrive After Divorce, where we bring you the experts to help you not just survive, but thrive in this journey. And today we have a beautiful guest, Alex Vitillo. Did I say that somewhat correctly, Alex?
Somehow.
Say it again for us.
Alex Vitillo.
Vitillo. I can't ever say it as pretty, but you were born in Italy, you grew up in Africa, and now you live in the UK.
Correct.
Correct. That alone is quite a journey. And you have the company Breathing Heart. Did I say that correctly? Breathing Heart.
Yes.
Yeah, the Breathing Heart company in the UK. And I just want to welcome you and your introduction. How do you introduce yourself before I get into the introduction? Because you have so much.
Thank you. Thank you. So the title is Leading Shamanic Priestess, a Wealth and Wellbeing. And a lot of people say, what is that?
Right.
And really it's merging the wealth and the well-being in an individual, in a business, throughout everything that you do. What I like about your show, you say for people to thrive. And this is what I want to support people with, to thrive and not just survive and not just go day by day. And Breathing Heart is really a merge of the breath, life, and doing things from the heart. Because if you don't do things from the heart, nothing feels alive, nothing inspiring. And when you combine the two together, your life with the passion of the heart, then you can totally thrive.
It is. It's true. It's, so many people say that the heart's truly the brain. And you are very familiar with heartbreak. You lost your husband, and that sent you on a journey, yes?
Yes. So every time I go to a networking meeting, or they say, what do you do? And I say, I'm a healer, shaman, a priestess, a business mentor. I say, but I was in the corporate business before. I was an investment banker. I was an economist. And everybody kind of, rolled their eyes and say, how is that possible? Well, it's possible because I come from quite a traditional family, and dad is very much the leader in the family. And when dad said, I said, I want to be an artist. And my dad said, well, artist, no, be an economist and then do art by your side. I listened. But it was a world that opened a lot of doors, especially financially, of course. I found love through that door because my husband was also working in the financial city here in London. It wasn't me, though. It wasn't me. It's just that I was in that rut or circle, or whatever you want to call it, where this is what you study for, this is what you do, it's good money, it's good environment, this is what your husband do. And, you just go day by day, and not in a million times did I ever stop to think, what do I really want to do? And when he passed away, and my children were very young, 4 and 6 years old, and I thought, okay, now it's me and me alone. And I was one of those wife, or very, how can you call it? I always had my husband on a pedestal. And before my husband, it was my dad. And before it was some kind of boyfriend, always flashy. And I felt, I'm the quiet one here, and I'm supporting the family. And so it was very hard for me all of a sudden to say, now it's you. You got the responsibility of 2 kids on your own. And I don't like what I do. I don't like to be in the financial sector. And also with 4 and 6 years old kids, you don't want to leave home at 7 o'clock and come back at 8 o'clock. And then you have to travel this country, that country. I really didn't want them to be alone for most of the day and most of the week. And so I took a pause. I was fortunate enough to be able to take a pause and to say, what do I want to do? And spirit always wants to ask the question, what shall I be doing? Spirit always answer. You got to listen and pay attention. It's not a very loud voice, but to me, it started with meditation and then mindfulness. And then from there, different healing modalities. And now I'm very, very passionate about helping others to live their dream life.
So if you look at that story. I mean, I think you had come from a life that a very patriarchal society. You're in a job that you were kind of directed to that you're not loving. You have
Correct.
your husband, 2 children. Your husband passes away. Your children have suffered that loss. You're looking at your job thinking, I don't like this. And you're alone as a female without having that leader in your house, for like a father or husband. That's a big shift that you had made at once.
It's a very big shift, especially like I said, I wasn't really in the mindset and the habit of being a leader. And my dad, for that, I have to say, he did give me the direction of what to do, but he always encouraged me to be the leader. It's just, I didn't take that opportunity. I was there thinking, oh, my husband is there. It's really good at looking at the school. It's really good at taking us on holiday. It's really good at, or thinking about the bills and the insurance. And all of a sudden you're thinking, oh my God, let me look into the practical things, the house insurance, the car insurance, which school do the kids go? What do I want to do? How do I live my life on your own, right?
Wow.
And my family is in Italy. So yes, morally and psychologically, they were very supportive, but practically nobody was there. And also part of you shut down when something like this. And so you don't really want to see many people. You don't necessarily want to see people that you knew from before. And, there's always some internal adjustment that it's happening. So it is very traumatic. And I said, for me, it was the loss of a person, but equally can be the loss of a relationship. All of a sudden, something happened. It could be the loss of a career. It could be a loss of part of your body. We all go through losses.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a choice. What do we do? What do we do? Do we stop our world and some decide I want to leave the world? That's the choice that, slipped through my mind. But again, my children give me that strength to say, you can't do that. That's not an option for you.
No,
and it makes things a little bit easier in a sense, because then you just decide, okay, given that I want to be here, how do I want to be here? But you got to find that strength. And for me, I always say, you got to find people that are in the profession that can support you. So if it's a relationship breakthrough, find the best person that can mentor you through that. If it's a body part that, it's breaking down, find the best holistic or medical, but, body expert. And if it's that, then find the best grieving counselor, because alone it's very, very hard. And also it's not, in a sense, fair to rely on your family and friends to help you lift you out of that. You really want to be with a professional and don't put that task on anybody else, because nobody's equipped to do that. Nobody's equipped to do that unless they're professionals.
And you can wear them out, and then all of a sudden you're losing your daily support is starting to kind of flutter away because you can wear them out. I say all the time, every divorce is different, but what's consistent is it's a death of a dream. It is a death, it's a hit to a family, to a person. And I absolutely agree with you to find experts, but it can get very, very expensive. Or sometimes you don't know what you're struggling with, so you don't know what experts to look for. And that's why I created this show, because I knew it takes a lot of experts. It's not just one divorce coach. I can't help you 2 hours a month and solve it. Like you said, your finances are hit. I am not a financial coach. I should not be talking to you about finances, but you need financial help. Yes. You need all the different help. You need breath work. You need all these experts. But I have to tell you this, when I asked a group that were in a very, motivational speakers, coaches, all of it, we said, I'm looking for experts to help on the subject. And a woman said, you must. I think maybe a couple said, you must talk to Alex.
Oh,
I've never
thank
had
you.
that done with anybody else. So I have to say, your experts, your peers in the group called you out on this subject, that you are the must for the women to hear.
That really brings tears of gratitude. Yes, I received a lot of recognition this past year, and I have to say, and I want to say to everybody that is in some kind of professional development, all those recognition, you work at it. So I'm one of those people that if I'm offering a service, I trained, I practice, and I have mentors. So I, for instance, let's talk about psychic skills. I'm very good with psychic skills. I didn't know that. That got awakened when I launched into this business. And yet I train them. So yes, I was born with psychic skills, but I don't just leave them there and rely only on those. I have mentors that pushes those buttons with whom I can really train and practice and be kept in alignment. And it's the same for coaching, for business coaching, for money coaching, for I'm a matchmaker. I train, I've got a certification, I renew my certification, I go to practice. And this is why people then say, okay, Alex is an expert, because I've got my skills, I work at it, and I've got mentors that also keep me in check.
You take your God-given abilities, just like someone who is a singing voice, but they still go to a trainer to make that even better and to learn the tools they need to enhance that voice. And you've done it. And I know you came up with your own mythology. I want to talk about, you talk about finance, but what's so fun, if people like you or follow you, your pictures are just dazzling that you are always putting up, and inspiring and fun. And I was like, I don't have anything quite, I do, but I didn't know how much I wanted to bring out. So I got out the purple lipstick, a white sweater just to represent spirit and light and energy, and thought it's going to be fun talking to her. So tell me, that you said you developed your own mythology, and that, well, I know you empower visionaries, high achievers, heart-centered entrepreneurs, and where did I had it right there. You retrained yourself in several energy techniques. That's it. Because energy is so much around grief and money and everything that hits you in the divorce tsunami that comes through.
Yes. So again, I come at it from very practical tools and very, let's call it maybe the more traditional business coaching, but at the same time is what is your soul? What is, talking to spirit to understand where is that guidance? Where is that spirit really telling you to go and do the healing? And spirit and a coach and a healer can always hold that frame for you where you feel safe. They cannot do the work for you. I remember asking my mentor saying, oh, why doesn't spirit do it for me? And I said, would you like to be doing the bed of your kids every day, or would you teach them how to do it and then they got to do it, right? So it's the same. Even in our spirituality, they can help us. They can tell you, okay. And again, depending on modalities, like in coaching, they never tell you what to do. In shamanism, they're very precise and they say, this is going to put your fist. With tarot, this is the probability. So then it's up to you to decide, how do I want to navigate? How much guidance do I want to have? Yet you got to show up and you got to do the work. Because if I'm telling you that relationship is not good for you, and again, in shamanism, it's very precise. So they're going to tell you, you want to date that person? It's not so good, but you do it. There's nothing else spirit can do, right? So you got to be willing to listen to that guidance and where it takes you. And it can be beautiful. It can be uplifting. It can be joyful. I know when I go on social media, I always say, oh, calling people out, and I get all fiery. But when we're in a session, I'm very loving, and everybody knows. They say, Alex is the real deal. You never feel judged. You feel safe. And this is where miracles happens, whether it's financial or emotional, really miracle happens. And I had a lot of women that came to me because they were getting through a divorce. Sometimes they were not even at the divorce yet, but they were in that state and they were feeling so, maybe they had amazing jobs and they were not sleeping at night and they were feeling They were, their self-esteem wasn't there, and their colleagues would take advantage of them, and they would work even long hours, and they felt the financial burden. And you cannot heal that on your own. You really want somebody there to show you how magnificent you can be and how easier it can be when you have clear boundaries. This is okay to say no to working 12 hours a week because you don't have a family and your colleague has a family, all sorts of, and really you feel, and then when you do it, maybe you feel guilty. So again, you need your coach. I'm saying I'm your best cheerleader, because you do something and then you feel, oh, I shouldn't have done that, I'm going to lose your job. And then this is why we have these discussions. Say, look, you're not going to lose your job. Just hold the fort, stay strong, look into you. What are your talents, your strengths, your skills? And women just rebirth. And I went through divorces with men, but then the challenge is different. It's more practical with them. They don't seem to go through that heartbreak in a sense of self-esteem. They have the heartbreak, but the self-esteem, at least the men that worked with me, was there. It was more, how do I manage it practically with the kids, with my work, and the heartbreak, the romance. But the self-esteem, at least the men I worked with, was always there. But the women, it was hard. Like in my case, I had to learn, what is it to be a leader? What is it to be the leader of your family, the leader of your community, the leader of your business? Otherwise, nobody told me that at school, or maybe they wanted to and I never listened.
No, and you know what, like the leader, like at least I seem to see them everywhere. The leadership courses, I've taken intense leadership courses, but that should be taught. Like, we hear the phrase, be a leader, or she's a leader, but true leadership, even within your own house, it's a mindset, it's a skill. And I have to say, when you think of, for psychics or people, the questions people want to know, the top three that I've heard, I don't do it, so I don't get asked, but the top three is always about relationship, finances, and your job. That's Correct. What people want to know. I want the answer to my relationship, my finances, and job. And you have become trained and you can dabble in all three. And that is really, you're like the trifecta of.
Yes. And also it's kind of magical how it works together, because I had people that came to me specifically to grow their business, people that were out of a relationship for whatever reasons, but some of them were 20 years out of relationship. Another one was 10 years plus out of a relationship. And they work on their business with me, and all of a sudden they're living with somebody. One, I think, got engaged. The other one is already, a child on the way. And it's just happened. And the same happened as well. Somebody coming to me for a relationship, and then all of a sudden they got a job promotion, or they get transferred to a city they want. So when you start to work on yourself, whether it's your business or your relationship or your body, right? Because even your body needs to, the body's the first thing, actually. Everything else just changes, because you step into that leadership and you're saying to, let's call it a universe, or you can say to your community, this works for me, I want more of it. This doesn't work for me, I want less of it. So automatically, this thing starts to really connect and support each other, and the magic happening in every field of your life. It's very hard that you may open up your heart, but all of a sudden you really mean at work. It doesn't work that way, right? Or you're really opening to clients and service, and then somebody comes and want to take you out, and you just don't look at them because maybe that didn't fit the bill and the checklist, right? You open your eyes, you start to expand, your heart expands, you're really open to opportunities. And this is why it happens, looks like, out of the blue, I was working on my business and the relationship showed up, but deep down they wanted a relationship, right? Deep down. So when that opportunity presents, instead of like, no, then they say, oh, maybe. And the maybe becomes, oh, this is actually good.
Yeah.
and there they go.
Don't you think people can have thoughts in their mind like, I want a partner, I want a new job? But if you truly, your subconscious isn't deep down in alignment with that thought, that is like it's just the frosting. It is not the cake. It is not, when they think, why isn't it happening? It's because maybe it's not what they truly are ready for.
Correct. Correct. And again, it's very practical. You know, I say, how much do you want it? Like, for instance, sometimes people reach out, and I have clients all over the world, so the time zone might be a little bit tricky. And again, because of my situation, I work certain hours, and some people reach out and say, you know, I want to work with you. And I say, okay, this is the time. And when you convert it, 6 o'clock in the morning. And some of my other colleagues says, they're never going to sign up for 6 o'clock in the morning with you. I say, well, how much do they want to thrive in their business? And they do. But the ones that do, they get the results.
Yep.
And the one that say, no, actually, no, they don't get the results. It's just as simple. And even my studies of shamanic, it was from 11 till 1 o'clock in the morning, once a week for a year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired at 11 o'clock at night, but I wanted that mentor. I wanted to really, like I said, be there.
Yeah.
I didn't want to improvise with a book. I didn't want to do it by myself. And of course you can do it yourself, but I don't advise it. Don't do it. It's recipe for disaster. So my heart was set, that mentor, the class was at 11 at night. I'm doing it. And I get the results, right? I get people with me. So it's how much do you want it? I know if we're talking dating, I know many people, I mean, I don't know many people that say, yeah, I want to go on an app and on a dating. Most people say, oh, can't be bothered. No, another. So again, how much do you want it? How much do you want it? You know, these days it works generally via an app. So again, have a good coach that can turn the experience and make it for you. Doesn't say not going on an app because that's not working for me. Well, still the chances of somebody knocking on your door, unless you like the postman or the Amazon guy or the DHL guy, it's really limited, right? So you got to do and align with what you say you want.
And how you go into it. Like, I've been single a long time, and it took me a while to go, I like being single. It sounds fun, but I'm not really ready because I was too busy doing other things. But I'm starting to think about, okay, I might have to break down. I might have to do the app. But I do know this, when I do sign up or win, it's the intention and mindset I set up with. If I go into it thinking these are just hookup sites and this isn't going to work, but it's a free trial, so I'll do it. That's what I'm going to get. Where if I go, I am ready.
Correct.
I am ready, and I'm going to meet my person, and I'm going to have a different experience. That's a big part of it too.
Correct. And I think you're right. Sometimes you want to maybe wait a little longer when you think, okay, now I've got that intention, and at least the intention is clear, rather than maybe, but I'm thinking, their hookup's not going to work. It's not going to, no.
But then I could say I tried. You know what? I'm thinking, I really like your make the bed analogy. And this is just sticking in my head for people. Like, yes, we want them to learn to make their own bed. So we're not always doing it. Spirit, God, consciousness, all want us to learn. But there are many ways to make a bed.
Correct.
You know, you might have to start to go, do I want all the covers up? Do I want it pulled back? Do I want it tucked in? So you might have to play a little bit to see what works for you.
Correct. And if you have a very creative imagination and a very curious mind, it's going to be easier for you. If you're scared of the unknown and you're not used to play and be curious, it's going to be a little harder. And again, this is why certain mentors are better than others for you. Certain people are better at stimulating you. Maybe certain people are better at holding that space and make you feel safe. Certain people are, need to be pushed a little bit more out of their comfort zone. And the more you know yourself, always comes back to that, the more you know yourself, the easier it's going to be for you to say, okay, this works, this doesn't work, this works, this doesn't work. And for me, it took a long time before I started to know, even in dating, I really like this, I really don't like this. And claim it, own it, don't be afraid. And it's the same for everything else in life,
Hold the fort. And know and be honest with yourself and be honest with who you're working with. I'll have clients that I want to be like, don't do this for me. If you don't want to try it, don't try it. Let's find something you want to try. Like,
Correct.
I
Correct.
don't know your truly inner being. We're brainstorming here. We're finding tools. But if you're not honest with me and honest with yourself, this isn't going to work.
Correct. Correct. Yes.
It's like being honest with your doctor. Sometimes we don't want to, but you
Yes.
have. Now, for living all the places you have, United Kingdom, Italy, Africa, there's a lot of cultural differences in all those places. But at the same time, there are things that are universal, like a smile, love, and heartbreak. Do you see in those, are there different ways that people handle heartbreak in the different cultures, or do you think it is just, it hits us all the same?
I think it's more I call it the zeitgeist of time. What's in that era, in a sense, that it's allowed to, that is acceptable. I.e., in the olden days, our grandmas were used to take it all on themselves, and it wasn't a great marriage, but nobody said anything. Now, I think whatever culture you're in, women are not so subdued anymore, and it's okay to say, this is not working, this is not doing it for me, right? And men are also getting a lot more open to the feminine, call it the divine sisterhood, right? So it's
more
not so
on-hand parenting. The men are becoming more, it's more like 50-50 split parenting, or it's evolving.
Correct. So that opens up to a whole new layer of sharing things, and even say, I'm hurting, I am hurting, you know, and a man will say it and a woman will say it. As opposed to before, where, you know, it was all hushed and things wouldn't be so out in the open.
Yeah, it I think of it, I'm looking at you, I'm like, you're just this beautiful, like, the entire package, because even I love your top and or your dress, and but it's like people who, and I'm there right now, so I want to be in shape, but I don't want to do the work, you know, like I want to feel healthy, but I kind of still want pizza, you know. It's the same with our energy and our mind, and it looks like you have mastered the whole thing, body, mind, and soul. You just beam.
I'm very, I don't know if driven is the word, but I'm very, well-being is important to me. Let's say it that way. Yeah. So even when I was 13 and people would get drunk, or 25 and people would get drunk, it never crosses my mind, because I thought, first, no judgment, but I thought it wasn't very feminine to see women, you know, just throwing up in just not goddessy like at all. And I thought, well, no, you know, I like the goddess Venus type of energy. That's not doing it for me. I also felt it wasn't safe. I also felt if I'm smoking, it's going to bring line to your face. So there was an aesthetic component, and there was, I want to be healthy, and what can I do to be healthy? And I've got a very strong will. But again, you cultivate your will. You say, okay, what is important to me? Meditation, the food I eat, what I exercise. And based on that, you know, you got your solid foundations. And also, if I'm teaching clients that this is important, you know, like we go into, like I said, even if it's business, I give you tools for day to day. How do you live your life to the best? I need to be able to have experienced it and to say, you know, if I'm going to bring you a very practical example. I jumped into cold water swimming. Living in Africa and being Italian, cold water swimming is a no, can't do that. Why and not? The way I did it was to have a good friend that said, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. I did it. And
really, like a cold pool lunge, or you just jump in?
Yes, freezing cold, snowing outside, did it the whole 3 years before the pandemic, before the thing closed. And I said, if I can do it, you can, because really there's no one else that likes warm, cozy, nest. Even a normal pool is too cold for me. I always go to pools that have been super heated up, and Sorry, let me close the door. Do you mind? Because
No, go ahead.
we're doing some work in the house, and
Oh,
that is happening as well. Forgive me. So
no, it's pretty symbolic.
so I say, if I can do it, you can do it, really. And if I can do this, you can do everything else. It's very strong-willed. And again, it was the right person to support me. I wouldn't have done it on my own. I would never have thought I could do it on my own.
No.
But when you've got the right person there for you, then the sky's the limit.
And you can try, like if someone just heard that right now and then they're like, well, I don't have a cold lake by me or cold water. You can, because I did this the other day because someone told me to try it. At the end of my shower, I put it all the way on ice cold. And I was like, I can do it. I know I'm not doing it right now because I'm choosing not to, but if I make that choice, I could do it. I was just talking to my own counselor yesterday because I think like a coach, if a good coach has a coach, I have a counselor, and she said, what do you really think it's all comes down to? And I said, mindset. Every issue, once we learn that so much is in our mind, our fears, our limitations. And I'm wondering now, I'm 50, and let's just say 50 as the scale, that there's going to be women younger, women older listening to this, but talking about that priestess energy, the goddess energy that I did not know in my 30s. But what energy do you think is at this point in our life? Or how would you put into words the goddess energy or priestess?
I would say a priestess is slightly different because in the role of a priestess, you are holding space for somebody and you are bringing some kind of therapy or some kind of transformation that it's really directed. The goddess energy is more a way of being to be. It's more when women can claim who they are unapologetically and they love who they are unapologetically. And then there are many goddesses, right? There's the goddess of wisdom, there's the goddess of beauty, there's the goddess of the home, there's the goddess of spring. So which one is your goddess? Which one is the goddess that it's really inspiring you? But this is who you are. This is that energy inside of you. And sometimes you can combine different goddesses depending. You're going on a date, of course, you want to call in the goddess of sensuality and passion, right? You want to go to a business meeting, you want to call the goddess of wisdom, right? Yeah. But the priestess, it's a different energy and a different purpose as well. We don't all want to be priestesses. It's just depending what were you here to do? What is your mission? Well, we can all be goddesses, and all the men have goddess energy right within them as well. It's how do you activate it while keeping your God inside of you? Yeah.
I've never had it broken down. I have so many books I haven't studied shamanic more than reading books. I haven't really studied, but I have like the goddess, the priestess, and I was thinking it was like maiden, mother. Like I didn't know, but yeah, of course, a priestess, she's a teacher, and then a goddess is the energy, and it's real. Like when you look up who you call in before you call them in.
Yes.
We don't want to just start having you chant for Kali if you're not ready.
Correct. Definitely no.
No. So I mean, there's all different types of support out there.
Yes.
For, of course, men and women. But if you choose, there's support in the universe, there's support online, there's support all around us. And there's support all around us. And like you said, when we try to do it on our own, it
doesn't work. And I was saying yesterday, I was on a panel and people were saying, how do we find the right coach? And I say, again, whether you believe in mystical, the universe, something, just look yourself in the mirror and say, this is what I want to accomplish. And it can be a physical thing, you know, this level of income, this business, or I want to feel less shy. I want to feel more visible. I want to feel more sensual. I want to feel more dynamic. I want to procrastinate less. So look at yourself in the mirror, pick one end goal and ask and say, what would it take for me to meet the right person? What would it take for me to meet the right helper? What would it take for me to meet somebody that can help me accomplish? And there's always going to be something, somebody, a message showing up. Now, again, you know, at the beginning of when I started doing this, I didn't put one and one together. You say, what's that saying, right? So I would say, I want to grow my business to X, for instance. And then maybe not even an hour later, I would see an advert and somebody would say, you know, I'm a business coach and this is the program and and it would be £10,000 investment. I was thinking, no, that's not the one I've asked. You know, I would flick through and say, no. And then I would go the next day, oh, I really want to grow my business. Can you help me? Mm-hmm. Well, it took me a while, but then I realized that person saying, this is the program, it's £10,000 or whatever it is, right? That was the answer. Yeah. So again, don't expect the universe to drop the cash onto your laps and say, hey, this is what you asked, this is what it is. No, it's saying, this person right now, this program, this investment, this training, it's going to make it for you. Or this app, if you want to date, or somebody's inviting you to dinner and it's somebody you've known for ages and you know all of your friends and it's like, I can't be bothered tonight, but the night before you've asked to meet your soulmate, I would pay attention, right? Because that one night, even though you thought you knew all of your friends, maybe they're showing up with somebody new. Yeah. And you just don't see that connection. So I say, just ask and be receptive of the message. Because chances are it's never going to show up in the way that you think it's going to show up. No, never.
It's not going to be a pigeon with a rolled up message landing in your window.
Correct. No. Correct.
The first time I invested in a very expensive program, but I have an energy coach and she said, but you are showing the universe that you believe you're worth, how'd she say it? Yeah. That you believe you're worthy of investing and you're investing in yourself and you're investing in your belief. You know, it's not just the program, it's telling the universe, I am worthy of investing in myself.
Correct.
That makes sense. She said it so much better.
Yes. So there's that fact of you saying, okay, somebody's helping me here. This is what I want. I want to reach the next level, let's say, of my business. This person comes in, they teach you the tools, but at the same time, it's you saying to the universe, or you stepping into your power saying, I'm co-creating this. I believe I'm going to know how to do it. And the know-how could be working on yourself, feeling part of yourself, right? So it's not necessarily a program where they teach you, this is how you write a letter, or this is how you post.
No, right? It could be a massage. I mean, whatever level it is, but you're
whatever level it is,
worthy of an
and it's you saying, hello, I've invested, I'm ready to step into this next level of abundance. And for me, I started from the beginning. I wanted a business with a website, with my business name. I have an email with my business name. Everything is really, I've got insurance. It's a limited company. I started from day one. Now, many people may say, you don't need it from day one. It's true. But for me, that was my way of saying, I'm doing it and I'm serious about doing it. And I'm not doing it as a cowboy or, and everybody else can then decide what it's right for you. And if you are in a business and you want to generate a certain level of income, I say you have to be ready to invest that amount yourself. You cannot ask to sell a service that's still £10,000 and you're not willing to invest in a program of £10,000.
And if you're not willing to invest in yourself, you can't expect others to invest in you.
Correct.
And when I say that, I mean it, that could be in a relationship, that could be, in your employment, that can be in your finances. But if you don't invest in you, why should that future soulmate out there believe they should invest their time and energy in you if you won't even do it?
Yes. And if you don't think you're beautiful, why should they think you're beautiful? Or if they do, then you get into that codependency that along the lines is going to create disaster, right? If you don't feel beautiful and you're waiting for your partner to validate you, and there are many relationships that way, unfortunately, I think we know what's happening, right? At the end of that.
And it's the same when you're in that habit of needing validation, you probably need the validation at work. You can't just believe this is good, or a validation as being a parent. Like, just to know I'm a good mom. Maybe you need the validation of being the head of the PTA or something to prove. So we're always seeking validation, and that becomes a vicious cycle. Because when it goes away, what are you left with?
Correct. Yeah. Totally with you on this.
So for women listening, of course, we'll list everything in our show notes of how to find you. And before we have you give that shout out, you have done so much, and it can become like, I want this. Oh yeah, I want to do that. And you can, like, I'm a membership certification addict. I have to stop and go, stop. What do you want? You need to complete it. You need to focus on this. And I just realized I will be a student until the day I die. I will always be seeking. So how did you maintain yourself to be so disciplined? Well, you've said you're disciplined, but how did you choose? Like, all of a sudden it's like a whole new world, and you want it all.
I'm a seeker as well. I'm a seeker. I'm a teacher. I'm a student.
Yeah.
I think I've got, again, one of those God-sent skills, which is I bend time, and I'm not kidding. And I'm, so I've done so many qualifications, all within certain parameters, 3 months to certify, 6 months to certify, and I do it.
But do you do like one at a time, or do you do multiple?
I do multiple.
See?
And it just, like I said, it works for me. And the way I balance that is I don't justify myself. I know I do it because it expands my heart, it expands my soul, it expands my knowledge. And because I trust, and if something is showing up in my awareness, I'm ready for it. And the discernment is, how does it feel in my body? Is that something that really gonna, is that something really I want to learn in depth or not? And there's things like feng shui I love, or things like astrology I love. I never took a certification in astrology, but I connect to the stars, for instance. Or feng shui, I hired the best feng shui. And, of course you learn, but I'm not spending that much, I'm not qualifying in a feng shui, because at least right now it's not my passion. Now, quantum flow, for instance, which is breath work and manifesting on the physical level.
Yeah.
When it came to my awareness, I had no idea what it was. I was doing already another certification. There were hours and hours for both certification to watch. This is why I say I bend time. I thought, how am I gonna make it? And then I said, let's leave the how, and I certified ahead of everybody else. Because that was that
certified
passion.
in quantum?
I'm certified in quantum flow. Yes.
Oh yeah. Well, no, quantum's just come into my life as a good friend I met in France came into my life. She brought it to me, and yeah. So now that's on my radar.
Yes. So I think if it comes in your radar and you're open and you've got that space and that curious mind, and you're a seeker, go for it. And if you're not that type of person, again, don't do it. Maybe just do one that feels really good for yourself, and that's it.
I think once you get to, if you are honest with yourself, take the time to get to know yourself.
Correct.
You start to know. It's like a car. You know when your car is not running well. You don't have to ask anyone. You know how.
Correct.
And like right now, I know, just yesterday I was like, wait, I'm getting out of alignment. I can tell by my diet. I can tell certain things start to fall off, and I have to go, whoa, stop. Slow down.
Correct.
And, you start to act out of fear, or you make decisions. And that's a time when you feel like your car, once you get your car driving well and you know how that feels, you will know
Yes.
when something is out of alignment or you're pushing too much, too fast. Something is there for you to look at.
Yes. And I always say we're human, so again, if you got the best mentor, the best healer, the best expert by your side, it's a lot easier because you can bounce back ideas, you can brainstorm, you can ask, right? But don't ask your friends about, shall I take this job or not? Don't ask your children about, shall I go on this business retreat or not? Don't ask your partner even if this is the best course for me, because your partner is not the one taking the course. Ask yourself. And I have to applaud, whether it's men or women, when you're in a relationship where you say, I really want to do that, trust me, the investment is well worth it, and the other person don't question it. Because if it comes into the conversation, shall I do it, shall I not? I think, again, it's not so powerful. You want to take responsibilities.
You know what I thought of just 2 nights ago, because I've been starting, you're just getting I've been starting to think about dating or because I don't want to date. I mean, to find that person, the partner.
Yes.
But I thought, you know what now? And I've been single for 12 years. I mean, there's been people, but I've been single for the most part. But I thought the difference now is when I find that person, I won't need to look at anyone and say, what do you think?
Correct. Beautiful.
You know what I mean? Like before, I would have met someone and then asked my girlfriends, what'd you think of him? I need your validation. I need your opinion. No, now I will know what I want. And I think it's true with anything in life, a course, when you know that course is for you, you don't care what anyone's reaction is because it is for you.
Correct. And at the beginning, don't share.
Yeah, no,
a new relationship, don't share. You think something new, don't share. Just leave that experience, build a strong foundation. And then you can say, hey, by the way, I'm coming with my husband to the Christmas party.
Exactly. Because you know what, it's true. The more we put out and share, it starts to, it's like dropping, drops of color in a white paint, because people start giving you their input and doing things. And it's not always good to share right away.
Correct. Yes. But I'll be listening to who you meet.
Okay.
You can share with me.
I will tell you. Well, certain people that they know that I've done the work, or they wouldn't. But, I just thought the difference of the mindset before, I would have wanted everyone's opinion of this person.
Yes.
And now I will be like, I don't care.
Yes.
I know. And I won't have to say, what do you think?
Correct. And if you're not sure, you work it out, right? With your own judgment and values and feelings and experience. You don't have to, again, water down your judgment by asking other people. Yeah.
No. Alex, this has been such a just fun and everything time with you.
Pleasure.
Fun,
My
educational,
pleasure.
Deep. You are truly a priestess, precious treasure.
Thank you. And I really hope that the women listening, don't let anybody or anything put you down.
No.
You want to be treated as a goddess. You want to treat yourself as a goddess, and you want to believe in yourself and find your best cheerleader, because you are worth it.
You are worth it. And if you don't have the money right now, there are still women like you, or you can find someone they connect, and tell us where they can find you, because I know you have content that they can follow if they're not quite ready to make an investment with a coach.
Sure. So they can find me on my website, breathingheart.co.uk. I'm on Instagram, Breathing Heart Coaching. I'm on Facebook, Alex Vitillo. I'm on Facebook under Breathing Heart. I am all over the places. Sure. And chances are, if you're on social media, you're gonna see me live. Yesterday I did 3 panels. Today I'm here with you. That I also show, I have to say, if you like TV, it's called Rebel into Riches. And again, there's so much more than money in that show. It's really to guide you to step up and be that goddess, that leader, that rebel.
I love it. I love the rebel. But most of my girlfriends, you would think they're calm and serene, and they are inside, but they're rebels. I mean,
Rebels.
I think it takes that rebel energy to get you to your priestess, goddess self. And a divorce will bring the rebel out in you. And I don't mean the bitter rebel.
Correct.
I mean the inner power.
The inner power, yes. But and when I say rebel, I always say you have to show up and break the mold. You know, you have to, like, people say to me, oh, nobody will take you seriously because you're a business coach and you're blue hair. But, you know, I would have loved when I was in corporate to have a business coach come to me and say, hey, let's work together. I would have jumped at that opportunity, right? I don't want to work with a coach that is, if I'm in corporate, traditional and the same gray suit. No. So again, don't let people tell you cannot do this because you're in this sector, or if you're spiritual, you need to be covered in tattoo. Just do what you want, be who you love, and everybody's going to love you as well.
Guaranteed. I absolutely loved you. And you do have one more thing you're adding to your social. You're being everywhere. You will also be on people's phone on an app eventually, but if they follow you now, they will know when the app is coming out and what it's about.
Correct. And the app is called Breathing Heart, and it's going to be a really safe platform again for people to interact, for people to get to know me, and for me to get to know you a lot better, because ultimately, in order to support, I want to get to know you, and it really is a magical relationship. I promise you that. Yes.
I look forward to seeing it. So
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.